For over a century, the California State Police protected agencies of our state and our state's highest officials from the air, the ground, and on the water. The mission of the California State Police remained the same throughout its evolution, providing police services to state employees and millions of users of state property. The way these officers accomplished their mission, however, was as diverse and varied as the people who made up the agency. This is the story of the California State Police and its legacy of law enforcement.
The beginnings of the California State Police are as historically meaningful and deep as the foundation of the state capitol itself. In 1887, the state legislature approved a force of officers to protect the new state capitol building and its occupants. These two new officers took the burden off local law enforcement, who were oftentimes called to serve at the capitol. Their appointments were the birth of the oldest statewide police force in California's history.
I found the Board of Capitol Commissioners journal at the State Archives that actually documented. They were paid, I think it was $100 a month. And from there they progressed. They increased them one more, two more. Then as they got into the 1900s, you're talking like 11 officers.
The Capitol officers worked in near obscurity until 1911, when the state formally defined the agency, put the officers in uniform, and gave it a name: the California State Capitol Police. The now formalized agency was tested that very year when the Capitol was targeted by a crowd of protesters from the international workers of the world.
It's one of the most notable. Supposedly they tried to invade the Capitol and they were chased back over the river.
Over the decades, protesters and common criminals targeted the Capitol for expression and mischief, sometimes both. The state police were the ever-present protectors.
It's just a gathering place for people because it's the head of government. You can go up there and demonstrate and express your likes or dislikes with what they're doing.
Soon the agency was called upon to help quell riots at state prisons and patrol state expositions and events. Their duties expanded from the Capitol as they developed cooperative relationships with local police agencies, offering them state resources, extra troops, and a wide range of experience. Eventually, the Capitol portion of the agency's name was dropped, and as California's population exploded, 20 field offices emerged from Redding to San Diego. The agency went through a push to diversify, with women and minorities filling the ranks and rising to command positions.
43-year-old Robert Byrd of Los Angeles has been installed as the first black commander to serve in the California State Police.
The most important moment for me would have been my promotion to the rank of commander with the organization. At the time that I was promoted, the organization had been in existence for about 98 years, and I was the first African American ever promoted above the rank of lieutenant within this organization.
I felt like it was a family. All my superiors were very supportive of me. They gave me the green light on everything that I did.
I was the first pregnant state police officer. So I was a little dilemma when that came about.
The state police dealt with every first, with personnel and in the agency's missions.
We had deployment in 4 Bay Area cities, and so we served 4 communities, which were large metropolitan areas in and of themselves. And at any one time, we would only have just a couple of units on the street at the same time, particularly on the graveyard shift.
Although the backbone of the state police was the patrolmen and women, specialized bureaus were developed to meet protection needs of everything from waterways to the state's highest constitutional officer. Protecting the Capitol and its occupants was the very first mission of the agency, so those officers assigned to the Capitol had unique experience in the handling of protesters and demonstrators. During the Vietnam War, protesters targeted the state capitol many times, and in 1967 a group of armed men from the Black Panther Party made it into the Capitol before being disarmed and escorted out. Everyone from farm workers to nurses to teachers have used the state capitol as a platform for celebration as well as protest, and for decades they were managed and kept peaceful by the state police officers assigned to the Capitol.
The most important thing that I was taught on how to do this is make contact with the groups that are coming in, sit down, talk to them, explain what the rules are, and what's expected of them, and what our response would be to violation of those rules.
The State Police Explosive Ordnance Disposal Team was created in response to terrorist attacks in Europe. As one of the most highly trained teams in the state, the agency offered mutual aid on major incidents and trained local police forces in the handling and disposal of bombs. Water is the fuel that drives the state's economy, and protecting the Edmund G. Pat Brown Aqueduct was one of the most important missions of the California State Police.
It was out in the open that you got to talk to people, got to work with the local jurisdictions. It's all the way through the Central Valley of the state up to Lake Oroville, and then down through Pear Blossom and Lake Paris in Southern California.
Officers of this unit were responsible for the police protection and security of the aqueduct, which extends hundreds of miles. The main purpose was to prevent sabotage and protect public safety.
I had the avenues of traveling in 9 different counties, 3 state water project systems. So it was different each day.
Also part of this specialized unit, the California State Police Dive Team. This team conducted rescues and recoveries from the often swift and murky waters. And in the air, state police pilots could monitor with a bird's eye view, assisting officers on the aqueduct and beyond.
We had a plane based in Fresno, which covered the valley, and another one based in Pear Blossom, administratively assigned to Pear Blossom, and they covered everything on the other side of the Tehachapi Mountains.
During the earthquake in Coalinga, all law enforcement communication was knocked out. It was state police pilots who guided ground officers around the destruction.
We had a total, I believe, of 12 pilots that served throughout the years with the state police, and they were all a pretty good group of guys.
And the unit had an excellent safety record, despite some close calls.
We had one pilot one time, John Hall, was taken off on a dirt strip out in a remote location, and a group of sheep, or a herd of sheep, I guess, ran in front of him, and we had wire cutters on the landing gear of the plane, and he hit one of them with the wire cutters on the landing gear and actually cut a sheep in half, which I didn't know the plane could do that, but he was able to take off successfully and land again without any trouble.